Hello, welcome to another track guide. This week it's COTA. I appreciate that the last few videos are getting longer and longer, so I'm going to try and make this one a little bit shorter so that you can get through it a bit quicker. But if you found it useful, smash that like button, comment, let me know if it was useful at all, and subscribe. As well as get yourself signed up to pitskill.io for some fun races and leagues. But yeah, let's get into it. So start the prep for the lap. Get yourself along here. We're going to get ourselves braked just as we meet this. So rather than there, I normally use that as my reference, as my braking reference, and stay in second. Again, your car may vary. This is for the McLaren. Get yourself turned in on second. Power on at the apex. Run it out wide. Your track limits for your left wheel are here. So, sorry, I believe they're there actually. But you want to be dodging these curbs anyway because they're just going to slow you down. If you're hitting these curbs, you've already invalidated and you'll lose time anyway. But yeah. As we get ourselves down the straight, we're going to stick to the right, and then we're going to prepare ourselves to brake for the first corner. So we're going to get ourselves braking just before this white line here. So we're probably going to be braking around here-ish. So we're already on 100% brake as we've already met the white line. And then for this corner in particular, a lot of people tend to go sort of up there or sort of there like that. To start with, we're going to keep it relatively straight and then start to turn in later. So there's a turn in, and now we're turning into here. We'll come off the brake, like trail it in as much as you can. If you come off the brake completely, you're probably going to lose the rear end. So try and trail it in as best as possible, whilst also maintaining a decent amount of speed. The top of this corner will bump you around, so it's pretty safe to get onto the power as you sort of hit the apex, rather than waiting for the car to stabilise. Just because of the bump and all that, it actually allows you to get on it sooner, but you probably spin the wheels up once you get going. So there's full power, run it out, and then you don't have to come all the way over to this side, just keep it roughly centre, and then we're going to follow it round. Your track limits again is here, so keep your left wheels around here, and then we're going to get ourselves set up for sector, whilst we're getting set up for the fake Maggots and Becketts. So you want to... The quickest way through this section is to basically straight line it. Now, you want to try and not do sort of that as much as possible, because each time you get to these bits, you drag off the speed. So it's about straight lining it and finding the quickest way through there as possible. So I'll play it through fully, and then I'll go slow through after. Okay, so as we get ourselves set up here, right wheel, again we're going to be having it going over here. Full throttle still until you go to turn right and then come off it. So there's the right, and then just roll through. Sorry, roll through with your left wheel clipping this bit. Not anymore. Again, you got to test with it to see what the spatial awareness is like within your own car. But yeah, left wheel here, and then a little dab of brake there, down into third, and then get your right wheel on here, and then it's going to run you out, and then we're going to get on the full throttle, give it a bit of squeeze, and this corner you're going to kind of double apex it. You're going to run out wide a little bit and then come back in, but try and carry the speed as much as possible around it. Like keep dabbing the throttle. If you're carrying way too much speed at this point, just instead of braking, just downshift into second, and second will bring you back in. So there's the first apex. Here's the second, and we're going to get on the power as we go past this apex. And then as there's some tarmac there, and that's going to be my early turning point. So you see this tarmac here. That's going to be my turning point for that left-hander, but I'm not going to brake. Just roll through. Again, your track limits are there, so you want to keep your right wheel going over this bit. And then power again, and then we're going to get ourselves... If you've absolutely nailed that sector, you're going to be carrying a lot of speed at this point. So instead of braking here, we're braking like sort of, as you can see, I'm already on the brake. This is probably my worst corner of this lap in particular, but it's good to know that if you're carrying a lot of speed and you feel like you are, if you stop braking here, you're going to really run it out wide. So get your brakes on early and then come off the brake as you need to and let it roll round, because it is uphill and it will drag the speed off. And then we're going to use this point as our reference. Again, try and carry a little bit of speed round, little dab of the throttles and stuff, but we're going to be full throttling roughly around here. So there's the full throttle, and this corner, you want to bring it round right a little bit more than normal. You don't want to just straight line up to there. You kind of want to bring it round like that, and then we're going to straight line over it, because that's going to help you at the next corner. So there's the turn, and we're going to, again, your track limits are there for your right wheel, so get as much over the curb as you want to and upshift to third whilst full throttling. So I lost the rear a little bit there, so I'll just play it through fully just so you can see. So the car got a little bit unsettled, but that is the fastest way through there if you can make it work. It's all about that turning at the corner before. The more right you get, the more the straighter the line you can take over the second bit, and you don't have this where you're applying a little bit of lock going up the top of a hill with the camber and stuff, throwing the rear end all skewer. So yeah, that's the quickest way through that. And then again, track limits here. As you're accelerating, you really want to just little inputs so that you're not washing out a little bit. A lot of people lose their laps here, so try and keep it as steady as possible. This is a bit of a blind one, a bit of a blind turning. You're gonna have to keep just doing laps to get used to the where you actually have to cut. So you kind of want to aim down the middle here, and that's going to allow you to actually cut the corner properly. So there you go. As you're turning, track limits there for your wheel, for your right wheel. So there's your track limits. Now for this, if you've nailed that sector, you're going to be carrying a lot of speed at this point. So where you normally brake, you might brake as you hit this white line. But what we're going to do is we're going to brake just before it, like just a smidge. Like not so much that we're like here, it's just going to be a little bit before. So there you go, there's the braking, and then gear down. Again, so a lot of people, again, once they brake, they start to move over like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to straight line brake and then turn in late. Again, this is how you get that delta on your lap, is by not scrubbing off so much speed and destroying your exit for this corner as well. So there's the braking, straight line in, and now we're beginning to turn. Power at the apex here. I missed the apex just a little bit, but you want to get yourself turned in and power on as you hit the apex. Run it out wide, don't hit those sausages, and then just hug this white line all the way down the straight. Your track limits again are the white line. So for this, we're going to make sure that we're at 100% brake as we hit this bit of tarmac here. So there's your line, and we're going to be sort of applying our brake sort of as we hit the line or just after it. So there's the brake being applied as we've just gone over the line. This is that mark I was talking about before, but we're going to make sure we're at 100% brake as we hit that mark. Again, for braking here, straight line braking until the very last second, and then you're going to turn in and hit the apex and power on at the apex. So there's your straight line brake, here's your turn in, there's your apex, Power on, full power at the apex, run it out wide, a little bit of correction if you have to. Again, your track limit's still the white line. And then here, the braking point here, get ourselves, we're going to brake probably just about here or something, or around there. Get to the line and then just go a little bit over. There's your brake. Stay in second. We're going to start to apply the throttle at this apex, but not full throttle straight away, just because of how awful this corner is for this car. Other cars such as like the Ferrari and the Porsche are really good through this last sector, so you're able to just plant it and the car will just grip all the way around. But for the McLaren you kind of have to feather it a little bit. But here's your apex. So there's your feathering through, and then full, and then just balance the steering all the way around. Now, for this corner in particular, your tarmac mark that you're going to start braking at, you probably think it's roughly around there, which is right. But some tracks, when it's been raining or it's like fast, this isn't really visible at all. So what I use is this. I use the start of this white curve here because it's roughly in line. So I use that more than I use this. But you're going to get yourself right a little bit before this corner. So there's your right, get yourself a little bit right, and now we're going to start our turning. And when you brake, you're going to brake in a straight line, just a smidge, and that's going to allow you to get stopped and to trail it in. So you're going to apply your brake as you meet that curb, straight line it as I've got a tiny amount of steering on, but this is where you're getting most of your braking, and then we're going to turn in. You're going to come off the breaker a bit earlier, so you're going to trail it in a little bit, and then you're going to roll it through. And then this rolling that you're doing is allowing you all this extra delta. But your apex is there again, get it turned in, try not to hit this curb. But yeah, get it turned in there. And then power on at this apex. So there's the apex, full throttle, run it out wide. Don't hit those curbs on the right hand side, the sausages, sorry. And now here, you don't have to get it all the way over to the left if you don't want to. It depends on how your car behaves. Just follow the middle of the track. Now for this bit in particular, it's a bit of a pain sometimes, but depending on your car, we're going to try. So we're going to lift off here. So this grey point, lift off, and then we're going to get on throttle at the next corner. If your car has got some really good turning, accelerate maybe to about here-ish. You'll see my car's got some quite good turning with the setup. So I'll go over a little bit over in third, and now I've lifted off. And we're going to roll out to the next bit, and then as your car meets that black bit of tarmac, full throttle. So run it out a little bit wide. As we meet this bit, we're going to be full throttle and try and hug this sequence of corners as best as possible. So as you can see, the car managed to grip all the way around. If you got your turning a little bit off, you might find that the car washes out to here. And what I can suggest to that is to just like gear up and lift off a little bit, hoping that it will bring it back. But then we're going to get ourselves set up for this second to last corner. So there's your is where your tarmac starts, and there's your tarmac starts here. Your board is there. We're going to be braking sort of in between the two. So halfway between the board, the beginning of the braking points on the tarmac and the 50 board, and we're going to get ourselves turned in third rather than second, because it will allow us to just carry a little bit more speed through the corner. And then get your braking done, get yourself turned in. As you hit the apex, full throttle. The bump might unsettle you a little bit. It's something you're just going to have to try and test as you go through. So there's your apex. We're going to go full throttle, and then your track limits for once aren't the white line. It's actually here. But this curve in particular is a bit nasty, so it kind of like goes like that. And if you get your right wheels over it very late, you can find that sometimes it like drags you off a little bit, and you end up invalidating. But here's your track limits. So make sure you use it all when you're accelerating on the out. Just keep your steering nice and smooth. That way you won't have any sort of janky movements that drag you out and invalidate your lap. It's definitely happened to me a few times. So there's your track limits, get it tucked back in. Now for here, we're going to get ourselves braked, get ourselves nice and braked down for this corner. Again, I use this, so beginning of you got the two concrete points here. I begin my braking here, and then we're going to come off the brake and roll through the corner. So I trail it in nicely and then lift off to carry that speed round. Did I brake a little bit later than that, possibly? Oh yeah, I braked a little bit later than that, possibly a little bit too much, but you're going to get yourself, try it as I said, so do as I say, not as I do, so try this first. If you feel like you can carry more speed, then maybe try it there instead. Get yourself braked, trail it in, and then come off the brake, and then full throttle at the apex, run it out, and there's your lap. I hope you found that nice and useful. I hope it was a bit quicker this time to get through it all. I'm going to play the lap at the end, the full lap at the end for you. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. See you on Pit Skill for some daily races and league races. And yeah, I'll see you next week for the fabled Monza. Been looking forward to that one because it's such a fun track to do. Maybe not turn one, but yeah. Thanks very much, everyone. See you in the next one.